confirmed the week preceding this one, just after we released last week's podcast, is that Sir Luke Donald, soon come.
Pending,
has agreed to take up a third spell at the helm for Team Europe at the Ryder Cup at Adair Manor. What do we think of him going a third time? What does it mean for Team Europe? What does it mean for Team USA?
I would say that it's not a surprise. I think if he wants to cement his name in history as, you know, the greatest Ryder Cup captain to do it, I mean, this is going to be the way. I think you have historical context. You could probably say Tony Jacklin is maybe the greatest Ryder Cup captain ever, simply because how he revolutionised the Ryder Cup from the European team. And I think his legacy in that is secured. But Donald is going to be going into this as potentially the first captain to win 3 in a row. And at this moment in time, you have to say that Europe are looking good to be the favourites going into that Ryder Cup. It's in Ireland. The support's going to be amazing. Usually, home Ryder Cup teams do win. Bethpage last year, a little bit of an aberration, you would say. So I think, realistically, he's got a chance to cement himself down in history as the greatest Ryder Cup captain ever. And that can't be estimated. That's him, realistically, within the world of golf, cemented as a historical, legendary figure. And just imagine the things that he could do after this in his career if he wanted to. Like, he could just sit back down on the couch and relax, or he could push forward and become
4.
4. I mean, I honestly don't. If he wins, if he wins this, or if he loses this,
I think it's done.
He's not going to go on to do another one. I think if this feels right. I think within the current situation, as far as like ex-players as well, and all the controversy around European Tour, around Live, around kind of people, what they're going to do, I think this settles many questions, and it does it in a way which is uncontroversial.
Yeah.
Like if this was someone who just had 2 Ryder Cups and lost them both, we'd be asking, well, maybe it's time for someone else. But with Luke, I think it's in safe hands.
Yeah. I mean, we've obviously had 2 iterations now with him being the captain, and I would say even him making sure that this announcement is out quickly and early and dealt with is something that he would have taken on from the last 2 times, in making sure the players understand, like, well, it's all going to kind of be the same. Like, we're going to keep a lot of continuity. I know Rory and Matt Fitzpatrick both came out and sort of praised the fact that he was doing it again. I mean, why would they not? He's a winning captain from the last two Ryder Cups. So, I mean, it was a no-brainer. It was always the question of would he do it again? You can only imagine the kind of commitment and time, and not only from him but the family side of things as well, that it takes to do this. And this has basically been his life for the past 6 years now of doing this kind of thing. So, like you say, third time, if he gets it done, obviously first captain major in the history to do it 3 times would be incredible. It does feel, I would do the same thing, because there would be a slight ego to the side of it, but it does feel like there could be an element of like, this is the thing he needed to do to just tip him over the edge of like, there's no argument now. He is the greatest Ryder Cup captain that's ever on either side. But the big question mark now for the US team is who is going to be standing the other side for him.
So my theory on it is that the rumours around Tiger taking up the Team USA captaincy may have flipped the switch in Luke Donald's head. So my thinking is he wants to set out that he's going to be there. Yes, I'm doing it again. Yes, I'm successful. Bring me your best. Send me whoever you want, and I'll take them down, is his understanding of how it works. So the only thing that the Americans can do is send Tiger. And this is a great opportunity, like you said, to cement himself in that Ryder Cup history, but also to get one over on Tiger again. Because if Tiger's going to be on the other side of this, they had a little bit of a world number 1 battle going on. But the Tiger obviously had a much more successful playing career than Luke Donald did. Luke Donald has had a much more successful, so far, Ryder Cup career than Tiger Woods has.
Post 45.
Yeah. So I think this could be imagine how good it would be, if they name Tiger as US captain and then they come together and they battle it out at Adair.
I mean, not just that. I think as far as Ryder Cup careers go, like points won, Donald is way ahead of time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of, it's a very strange situation where you have the Ryder Cup because a lot of people make their reputations, make their careers around this one event, which happens every 2 years. Like Tiger is, him and Jack are undisputed as the best individual players to ever do it. Donald has been a world number one, but he's not going to make that list because he's not got any majors. The major winners will always come out on top. It's like the medal table as far as like gold medals always like being weighted. Majors are weighted in individual stroke play golf. It is what it is. But then when you get to the Ryder Cup, that goes out the window. And Donald within this context is an absolute legend. Poulter in this context, absolute legend. Whereas with the US team, when you look at their Ryder Cup record over an extended period of time within this European domination period here, there's no US players that stand out. There's no one who's going to be like, oh my God, he needs to be on this team. And there's a few players that probably won't be on that team who could fit that context. Spieth, maybe. Like, it doesn't look likely he's going to be making the team anytime soon. So I would say, for Donald, it's a no-brainer. And I've got to be honest, for Tiger, I don't think, I might be wrong in it. I know he has intimated that he would be interested. I'm not sure he'll take it. I'm not sure he'll take it.
I don't think he will.
Because again, we're talking about in the context of the history of the game. Why, if you're Tiger Woods, would you say, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to try and take the helm of a partially sinking ship as it goes into choppy waters. Like, unless he's really confident about being able to turn it around and being able to make the US team a winning force, why would he want his name attached to the first captaincy of the Ryder Cup to be a heavy loss in Ireland? Because realistically, the mood and the sentiment and how everything is looking, that's what this might be. So would you rather be Tiger Woods going into 2029 in a home Ryder Cup with maybe less pressure potentially?
Yeah, and a captain who isn't Luke Donald,
and with and having some stats to back you up about the home teams in Ryder Cups. I'm not going to say that Tiger wouldn't do it. I'm not saying that Tiger wouldn't have the confidence to be able to go into this and say, I am going to do this. I'm going to turn this round. But I think in the back of his mind, he would be thinking, I kind of want my first one to be a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But who else is going to do it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not I was looking through the other day. It's not a great list.
They're like just throwing someone to the wolves, though, aren't they? Like the European team are so strong. They're so good together, and they're playing a course in a country which is going to be so far behind. Like they're going to be so up for it. The US team basically want to just one of you lot take it. Like whoever takes it, they know that they're going to be the sacrificial lamb who's going to get slaughtered.
But they don't have to be. That's the thing. So it's not like we don't go into every Ryder Cup understanding that the US team on paper generally is stronger. I think the Ryder Cup in Bethpage was slightly different. I think quality-wise they were very similar. I think maybe the European team had a few players that were a little bit more high impact, but I think it was fairly even. So going into Adair Manor, I don't see how that's going to be different. I don't see how the US team isn't going to be slightly stronger or even better by the time it comes around.
Well,
the question is...
Patrick Reed's back, so...
Well, the question is, are they actually going to start treating the Ryder Cup as a different type of event? Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing after Bethpage, because it was a loss. And apart from that last day, it could have been a really heavy loss. After that last day, it came out, they weren't asking questions about course setup. They weren't there earlier. They weren't practicing. They weren't training. Have you seen the Kevin Kisner clip?
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
that makes you go what were they talking about?
So if you've not seen the clip, Kevin Kisner, who was a vice captain at Bethpage, on the first day when Fleetwood, wasn't it? Kind of smashed it to the right of the first green into the rough. Rory turns round to Fleetwood and says, great shot, perfect. Effectively, it's just where we want that ball to be.
Yeah.
And Kisner, who's there hearing it, said, well, why?
He just smashed it into the rough.
Why have they done that?
Yeah.
And eventually it turned out that being in that right rough enabled the players to take the spin off the short wedge shot into that green and drop it by the hole. Now, it's a small detail, but all that is course preparation.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to be vastly different than what individual players do around a major or around big events or any event really on the tours. But there is something which is missing from the Ryder Cup which says they're not taking it as seriously as maybe they should.
Yeah, so does Luke Donald have the easiest job in sports then? Because Team USA are a complete mess when it comes to the Ryder Cup.
They just don't, but they don't. I don't think they're a mess, and I don't doubt their sincerity as wanting to win this thing. But they're not doing the things which we know work, and which are pretty obvious when you look at the European team. It's not a secret. Like Europe aren't doing anything like undercover. It's just all out there. But for whatever reason, the US can't seem to get the right person at the helm to make sure that these things happen. Because I was really, I've said this ever since it was announced, but the Keegan Bradley appointment was really weird. But at least I thought he would have the passion, the energy, the understanding, and would leave no stone unturned.
Yeah.
Like, if you believe the hype about how much he wanted to win, I can't see how you can correlate what happened around preparation, around course setup, all the rest of it, to the point where you had the ground staff at Bethpage coming out and saying that they weren't prepared. And the moaning of the players after the fact about the course was completely unwarranted because they weren't given any information. Like, the reason that the home team usually wins at the Ryder Cup is that the captain goes into the greenkeepers, the people behind the US team will go in and say, we want this, we want that to better aid our players. Yeah. And for whatever reason, that wasn't happening.
When did Keegan Bradley actually get appointed?
It was straight after the Netflix series.
So when was that? I'm just trying to think from
it's kind of an April time, isn't it? I think it comes out.
Oh, he had enough time.
Yeah.
He had enough time.
What I'm saying is that, it's 2020, it's 2026 now. And we already know that Luke Donald is our captain. He's got all of this preparation time, to really, he'll do an amazing job, because that is a testament to Luke that he literally thought about everything, absolutely everything.
The stories about soap in the the hotels, the right
bedding,
sheets,
the bedding,
those things. I agree with you that when the only thing I thought that Keegan Bradley could have done was brought that passion and shown how much he wanted to win it by doing all of the work required to win it. But it seemed like it was a American bravado without any actual groundwork.
I think he did put time and effort into things. He just put it into the wrong areas. And like I say, he probably spent more time making sure those two cranes holding a massive American flag was hanging over the walk from 14 to 15 or whatever it was, compared to actually working out that hitting it in the right rough is more important than 6. It's just putting the commitment into the wrong thing.
The thing is, as well, passion can only take you so far.
Absolutely. 100%. The golf is still the most important bit.
You've got to be able to take a step back and be cerebral about it and say, what is going to put my players in the best position to succeed? And if you keep on going down that list, you will eventually get to bed sheets. You'll get to soap. What is every single aspect which is in my power to control can I do to make and give us the very best chance? And it's quite clear that Keegan stopped at some point on that list and said, that's enough. Yeah. And I'm going to make sure I sprint down the fairways holding the American flag to get my guys G'd up. It's the home Ryder Cup. They're going to be up for it and they're going to do it. Being up for this is why just giving an inspirational team speech won't always work. Because if the work's not been done prior to it, if you've not done the preparation, then you're going to fall short in the execution.
Yeah. That's also from a team the vice captains as well. The whole team around Donald was just obviously Donald is amazing, and obviously his wife as well was an integral part of it as well, and the vice captains. they had a team structure, whereas I don't know really if Keegan Bradley did.
It felt like they kind of all had the same goal in mind, which was to be as prepared as possible, to think of everything so that the players just had to think about playing golf. They had all the information, they had all the prep, they had all of the inspiration that they needed also to go out and do the job that they needed to do. And it feels like whoever comes into the US job for the Ryder Cup in 2027 needs to at least match what Luke Donald has been doing, because otherwise you have got no chance.
But, this now, like, so he's been appointed. If you're Team USA, you've got to be looking at this and thinking, God, right, we need to sort this out now. Like, now.
But that's, for me, that was the issue with Bradley. That appointment was a reaction.
Yeah.
Like that, no one saw that coming. And the reason is because he was still playing good golf. He still, I don't know if people have forgotten this already, was basically in that team on merit.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
He would have been, I think it was 6 captain's picks in the end, 6. He was within that 6-person field.
Could have rightly picked himself.
It was a weird appointment that was done on sentiment because of how guilty everyone felt when he didn't make the previous Ryder Cup team because of the Netflix documentary where he should have made it and all the rest of it. It was a weird appointment. It was nothing to do with Keegan Bradley, not his fault. He should have been allowed to play and to try and get on that team. And I'm certain, absolutely positive, that if he wasn't the captain, he would have been picked by whoever was.
Yeah.
They lost a good player.
Yeah.
We all knew that, but they still should have had enough to win. But the only thing that's going to stop Europe, the only thing that's going to stop Luke winning a third here is just getting complacent.
Yeah.
It's either getting complacent or overthinking it.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Which you could see you could see it being easily done, but I think the thing is that you can't see it.
Not from him. He's
too switched on.
But also, the other thing is obviously what players he's going to have available to pick.
Yeah, well, does Rahm look at this now and sort of it becomes more of an appealing thing? I mean, by what he says, the Ryder Cup is one of the greatest pinnacles in the sport, and he wants to play in every single one. But unless that means he has to get 6 DP World Tour events into his calendar
instead of 4.
But he might now look at this and go, yeah, well, maybe I'll go back to the table and have a little bit more of a chat. And
I can't see how the Rahm DP World Tour situation won't be resolved. Ultimately, you see this in every sport. It's down to kind of like player power. And if Rahm comes in and says, "All right, we'll do this, but I'm only going to play 4 events," I've got a feeling DP World Tour will be like, you know what, fine.
Yeah, well, apparently that's what he's already said, and they said no. So I don't know. It's the whole thing like we spoke about last week is like that. They've said to him, we want you to play 6, and we're going to also tell you the 2 of them that you have to play. And he's like, as you say, player control. I don't want anything to do with that. I want to pick where I want to go. So,
but I don't. In all fairness to Rahm, like I think throughout everything which has happened, like the DP World Tour, for example, telling him to appeal the decision so it can be put in limbo, which allowed him to play a Bethpage and all the rest of it. I think that the situation has been kind of weirdly dealt with by both parties. But also with Rahm, it's very easy to say that it's just 2 more events and you literally have all the money in the world. Take half of your winnings that you just bagged.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well done for winning, by the way.
For the first win on Live after your 28 second place finishes. It was weird. It was weird how he's not won yet.
We do keep getting corrected. He had won before on Live. He had won a tournament before on Live. That wasn't his first win.
Had he?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah, I'll find it. But he had one before. But I get your point. I
think if Luke just needs.
I do not remember this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Because I know he won the individual team thing, the individual kind of
player. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
If you're Luke Donald, like you got to have a conversation with him and just sort of. I know, obviously, he's probably, like you say, trying to get this, his right and all this sort of stuff. But if you're Luke Donald, you got to try and get him there, and whatever that means, way of doing, like you got to do it.
I don't see a way that they don't sort it out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like I think
we're chatting about it now.
Yeah,
and it's still in.
Like eventually, things will come together. They'll get it sorted, and I imagine that Rahm is again going to have a great season on live, but also I imagine he's going to have a very good year in the majors. So he's not going to make himself unpickable, because there are certain situations where both sides could not come to a agreement and he might not play. But I think eventually he'll bow to pressure, or the DP World Tour will.
So just to tidy that up, he won the 2024 Live Golf regular season finale in Chicago, meaning there had been 539 days since his last win on Live.
Wow. So he's finished this season. He's finished like second, and won. Or something like that. It's
ridiculous.
I mean, he's very good at golf.
Yeah.